All right, my beautiful people, thanks so much for tuning in to the Money Mind Shift, How Rich People Think. We're on day number 19. Now, in case you don't know, we are going on a 100-day journey to change the way that we think about money. And there's something different about the way that rich people think versus poor people. And so we're going through the book, How Rich People Think by Steve Seibold, and it's a 100-day journey. So here's the deal, guys. Wealth begins in the mind. Wealth begins in the mind. You must be wealthy in your mind long before you're wealthy in your wallet. Let me repeat that again. You must be wealthy in your mind long before you're wealthy in your wallet. Now, here's the deal. People ask me all the time, what did I do to go from being a financial zero to a financial hero? And I simply tell them I started by reading. That's right, reading. Now, here's the deal. If I tell people to read these books, I recommend them to them. For some reason, they simply choose not to read them. So I decided I would start this show where we could actually go through reading the book together. And so we do that. We go through how rich people think, and hopefully it'll help you to change the way that you think about money. You change the way that you think about money, you put some rich things into your membrane, then you can also start to have rich results. So we're on day number 19 of How Rich People Think. And it's talking about the difference between being finite and being infinite. Being finite and being infinite. Now, here's the deal. Let us begin on day number 19, because I know you don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time, so let us begin. The middle class sees money as a finite resource. World class sees money as an infinite resource. Repeat that again. The middle class sees money as a finite resource. World class sees money as an infinite resource. The average person believes there's a limited amount of money and that they need to struggle and fight for their share before someone else gets it. They live in a world of fear and scarcity that says money is hard to make and harder to keep. Due to years of middle-class programming, they will never accumulate more than a modest net worth. Once again, the rich occupy the opposite side of the spectrum. Although most of them have had the same middle-class fear-based programming in childhood, somewhere along the way, they were able to reprogram their beliefs and develop a healthy relationship with money. So here's the deal, guys. Are you or have you began to develop a healthy relationship with money? Have you or are you reprogramming yourself, reprogramming your mind as it relates to money? So here's the deal, guys. Like this journey that we're going along, this 100-day journey, we're on day number 19. We're almost 21 days in, which gets you to hopefully change the way that you think, which change the way that you act, changing your habits. But hopefully it's starting to reprogram the way that you think and the relationship that you have with money. We want to develop a healthy relationship with money. We want to be able to attract money. We want to become attractive people because that's going to help fuel us towards whatever it is that we're looking to accomplish. And I don't know too many things that's here on this earth that doesn't take money to accomplish. Whatever it is that you're building, you're growing, you're developing, it takes a little bit of money. Now, all of that money isn't necessarily earned off the labor of your back. Sometimes people give you money. They make donations to your worthy cause. Sometimes you have a great idea that you create something that you can do, make something once and get paid for a lifetime. There's a lot of different ways that money can come to you in all of these crazy different ways. But you must become an attractive person. You must have a healthy relationship with money. There's too many people who despise money. It's crazy. You got to pay bills, right? You got to eat, right? And all of this happens with the exchange of value for value. You give up your money in order to get that food that you want. But some people truly despise money. It's like, I don't want to have it. It's evil. Keep it away from it. It's the craziest thing how people have these bad relationships with money, but it's not. It's something that is developed over time. Something with their childhood and the way that they were brought up, the way in which they were taught to think as it relates to money, which is now has impacted where they are today. But here's the great news. We can change that anytime we decide to, because we can change what we put into our membrane. We can change what we look at. We can change what we listen to. And ultimately, that can begin to change the way that we think. So we want to develop a healthy relationship with money. Now, the rich understand money flows from ideas. Again, we've been saying that for 19 days. It flows from ideas. You don't have an income problem. What you have is an idea problem. Many people are so bombarded with life, they don't even take the time to think about these great ideas that keep coming across their pathway. They just pass right on by them. They say, oh, that was a good idea. But typically it's like, oh, that was a good idea for somebody else. And then they find out that somebody else actually made $1 million from the idea that they had. We pass by opportunities all the time because we just won't prepare for them. All you got to do is take some time to think. You don't have an income problem. What you have is an idea problem. And I'm going to try to drive this point home with you so often. We got 80 more days to go. You probably going to hear it 80 days. You don't have an income problem. What you have, what we have, is an idea problem. It's the ideas that flow wealth into your storehouse. It's the ideas that you have that you manufacture and you create and that you work on that will bring wealth, money, income, revenue, profit into your storehouse. We have to become wealthy up here. Wealth begins here. You have to be wealthy in your mind long before you're wealthy in your wallet. All right, the rich understand money flows from ideas, and since ideas are limitless, money is limitless. I mean, is there a limit to the amount of ideas that you can have? And if you say, no, there's no limit, I can have 1 million ideas, well, then you can have $1 million. There's no limit to your ideas, so therefore there's no limit to your income. There's no limit to your revenue. The only limit that we have is the thinking that we have. That's it. The sky is no longer the limit. The sky is only the limit because we believe that is the limit. So take your thinking, take our thinking to a new place. Take our ideas to a new place. Let them blossom, and we'll start to see our wallets. We'll start to see our revenue. We'll start to see our profits blossom as well, so that we can do greater things. So we can do what? So we can serve more people and we can solve more problems. I mean, it's a cyclical effect. The only problem with us is that we got the cycle going backwards to us. We want to start to make the cycle start to work for us instead of work against us. That makes sense? Of course it makes sense, because I said it. That's right. All right, here's the deal. So while the masses are directing their mental energy towards grabbing as much money as they can, the great ones are focused on creating new ideas that have the potential of generating abundant wealth. Now, I got to ask you this, guys. Are you currently working on an idea that's so big that it'll bring you a fortune? Let me repeat that again. Are you currently working on an idea that is so big that it'll bring you a fortune? Now, I ask you, if you are, Peter said yes. The cool dude said yes. See, I only got one yes. That's a problem. I got 3 people here, and only one person said yes. Now, Peter, here's what I'm going to ask you, Peter. Are you working on at least 2 ideas that'll bring you a fortune? No. All right, Peter. So now we got to get to the second idea. Why? Because while you're working on the first idea, you're putting that into motion, you're working on it, you're creating it, you can still be thinking about and having other ideas come to you, because while you're working on that, you're going to get some new ideas. And you're going to come across another idea that has the potential to bring you a fortune. And you want to capture that, right? You want to capture that idea, because you might not start working on it today, because you might want to put all your energy into your first idea, but you want to have that other idea on. We call it having it on tap. We want to have that thing on deck. We want to have that second $1 million idea on deck. Everybody say on deck in the comments below. On deck. Hey, Peter, I'm trying to teach you some cool new words. On deck. You want to have that second idea on deck, man, because you're putting your energy into the first idea. You're getting that thing going. You're working on it. You're generating. You're creating it. But you want to have that second idea on deck, ready to go when you get through working on that first idea. See, this is what we do, right? And then we're going to have another idea that comes along to us that while we're working on this thing, man, that's a good idea. We want to capture that thing and we want to put that idea on deck. This is how you change the landscape of your finances. Work on your ideas. Woo! Lord Jesus, help me today. All right. The rich use money to fuel their passions and bring their dreams to life. Good one, Earl. Earl, are you currently working on an idea that's so huge, so big, that it'll bring you a fortune? I know, Peter, you said yes. I'm not sorry. Patrick, you said yes. Earl, you said yes. Okay, Earl, are you currently working on at least 2 ideas that'll bring you, that have the potential to bring you a fortune? Oh, okay. All right, Earl, are you currently working on 5 ideas that have the potential to bring you a fortune. All right, so you got some ideas that can go on deck, right? All right, awesome. On deck, people. You got some ideas on deck. All right, here we go. Fantastic, fantastic. So the rich use their money to fuel their passions and bring their dreams to life. It's not money they crave, it's living life on their terms without the interference of others. The middle class has always criticized the world class for being greedy, being ruthless and materialistic. And there's a segment of successful people that fits that description known as the upper class. These people are driven by blind ambition and killer instinct. If you get in their way, they will run you over without hesitation. But the world class is different. The world class is spirit-centered, and they are among the most caring, compassionate people. These are the folks who provide the majority of the funding for the great charities and the nonprofit causes. They know how to use money to improve or advance anything they care about. The reason they aren't afraid to give is they know money is an infinite supply. Let me repeat that again, because if they taught this in church, the world would change. They know how to use, the reason they aren't afraid to give is because they know that money is an infinite supply. Why is money an infinite supply? Because the world class understand that they can have an infinite amount of ideas that they can work on. They got an infinite amount of ideas that are on deck that can give them the opportunity to continue to bring about more money. It gives them the opportunity to do more good in the earth. It gives them the opportunity to serve more people. Gives them the opportunity to solve more problems. You got to have ideas on deck. This is some good stuff, guys. All right. The reason, if they need more, they simply use their mind to create more. If they need more, they simply use their mind to create more. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to talk about this for a second, because when I quit my job and I went and became an entrepreneur and I started working on my ideas, my very first idea was what I call a retirement review. And when I was at my job, what I found is that the benefits department, it didn't do a good job of explaining to people their 401k, their IRA, and their TSP. And so everybody would come to me asking me for my advice on their own allocations for this thing that they call a 401k. And I was like, everybody keep coming to me. I need to create a service. So that was my very first service. While I was at the job, my very first service that I took and I created something from that became something that I sold. And my job was paying me $20 an hour, right? But anytime I provided this service, I charged them $149 for the service, which took me an hour. So that itself, that idea, it didn't create me a fortune, but it let me know that I could work on my ideas and I could charge more for my great ideas than I could for my great work. Let me repeat that again, because I don't think you guys understood what I just said. I realized that I could charge more for my great ideas than I could for my great labor. And this is why I say that the wealth begins in the mind. Because if you use your mind and you create things that are of value to other people, you can charge a lot more with what comes from your mind than you can that comes from your hands. And ultimately, what comes through your hands comes from your mind. But you guys get my drift? So I was making $20 an hour working in my ass off at this job, not doing what I love to do, not using my creativity, but just paying the bills. And all of a sudden, I had an idea that came to me that I could charge $150 every time I did it, and it took me an hour to do. So ultimately, I worked 8 hours to get $160 a day, or I could do one thing, get one customer a day, and I could make $160 in an hour. That is called exponential. I'm not bragging. And I'm not, I'm just trying to share with you my story, a part of my story, as to how I was able to quit my job, how I'm able to use these principles that I'm telling people, hey, you read this book, it can ultimately change your life. But guess what? Only 5 people showed up today. And there's 5 million people crying about how broke they are right now. But they won't pick up the book and read. So anyway, I don't know why I'm going there. Maybe that was for somebody. Maybe you are at a job right now. Maybe you got some ideas that you're working on. And I know we got some people that are working. Because here's what I know. I understand that I attract who I have become. So I am a person that's working on great ideas. And I know the people that are tuned in right now, you guys got some great ideas. And what I'm saying is, man, make sure that the idea, I'm not going to say make sure, but it's incumbent upon us to work on those ideas that have the potential to bring us a great fortune. Why? It's not for the money. It's for what the money can do. And it can fuel your other ideas. It can finance your future. It can finance your ambition. It can finance the great things that you want to do here on the earth. Because I believe that I've attracted people that want to do great things here on the earth. I'm sorry. It's called Now my book is messed up because the freaking dog. I got to get a new book. How Rich People Think by Steve Seibold. My dog got a hold of the book. That's why I don't show it no more, because I normally I tell Steve to give me my check. But anyway, I got to order a new book. But it's called How Rich People Think by Steve Seibold. And this just happened 2 days ago. And somebody can type that. Somebody type the title of the book in the comments below so you have it. Anyway, so where was I at? Oh, if they need more, they simply use their mind to create more. If you need more, just simply use your mind to create more. Welcome to the world of self-made rich, a world they create with their minds, a world of unlimited abundance. If they can do it, why can't you? If they can do it, whoever it is that's on your Mount Rushmore of success, whoever it is that's in your industry that you're looking up to, you're saying, hey, that's my mentor. Hey, I'm following him, whatever it is, whoever that is that's in your industry, I want to ask you, if they can do it, if they've got blood in their veins and they breathe oxygen and they eat food just like you, if they can do it, why can't you? Why can't you? All right, here's the deal. Here's our quote of the day. Every person who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow and inspires them to do so. And that's by Wallace Wattles. If you don't know who Wallace Wattles is, you need to YouTube him right now and listen to some of his stuff. Every person who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow and inspires them to do so, by Wallace Wattles. Whew, that's a lot. I mean, if I go there, I'm going to be here for another 20 minutes. So I'm going to try to just keep moving because I'm supposed to be a 15-minute show to change the way that you think. All right, now here's our critical thinking question of the day. Do you believe, since there is an infinite supply of ideas, that your earning potential is unlimited? Do you believe, since there is an infinite supply of ideas, that your earning potential is unlimited? Now, I will talk about this for a second, because I went from a place, and I don't know, maybe you guys have been there as well. I recognized that there was a cap on what I could make while I was working for a job. No matter how hard I worked, no matter how many hours I put in, no matter how little I worked, I was going to get paid the same. I was limited in what I could get, no matter how creative I was. Now, of course, you can work your way up the corporate ladder. I'm not saying that you can't, but I recognize that when I stepped out from up under the system, out of the matrix, and I started working on my own ideas, my income is now unlimited. There's no cap. If I put in more work, I put in more energy, I put in more creativity, I put in more processes, I get paid more. You know what I'm saying? So I've got one service that pays me $160 an hour. I got another service that'll pay me $500 an hour. I do speaking engagements that I can get paid up to $1,000 an hour. So I was working this job, not tapping into my own greatness and the things that I could bring to this world that could make this world a better place, that could inspire people. Hopefully you're inspired today, that I could share from my life. I could share from my experience, and I could also create the company that I'm creating. My idea that I'm working on that's big enough to bring me a fortune, I want to build a school. I want to teach the children what the public school refuses to teach them, and that's money. That's what I want to teach the kids. It makes no sense that I had to wait till I was 30 years old till I heard the first word about the stock market or investing. It makes no sense that I had to wait till I was 25 years old before I heard the word Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the Black Wall Street. It makes no sense to me that I had to wait to get that information. So I want to be the person that makes sure that I stop the I wish syndrome. I wish somebody would have talked to me about that when I was younger. I wish someone would have taught me about money when I was little. I wish someone would have talked to me about investing when I was 15 years old. I wish someone would have taught me about all this stuff. That's my big goal. That's my big mission. I don't know what it is for you, but I know you got some greatness in you. And I know that you got some ideas that are unlimited, that'll take your fortune, your income, your revenue, your profits to an unlimited stratosphere. And what I'm saying today, guys, is work on those ideas. And then the ideas that you can't work on now, make sure you put those ideas on deck. Here's your action step for today. Make a list of the 5 major beliefs you have about money that you know. Hold on. Make a list of the 5 major beliefs you have about money that you know are true, and challenge the validity of each one. Your action step for today: make a list of the 5 major beliefs you have about money that you know are true, and then challenge the validity of each one of those beliefs. So here's the deal, guys. Hopefully you got something out of the day. And I know for me, I got to make sure that my $1 million ideas, that they're on deck. Either I'm working on them or they're next in line to be worked at. Because I don't believe in spreading yourself too thin. I don't believe in trying to be the jack of all trades. I think you need to focus your energy on one, get that thing going, and then start putting some energy towards the next one. So make sure you got some $1 million ideas on deck. And here's what we did today, guys. We talked about how rich people think, the difference between being finite, money being finite, and money being infinite. And I truly believe that the money is infinite because we have infinite ideas. And if we tap into our infinite ideas, if we turn off the television, turn off the radio, get away from negative people, and get into our own gold mine, and we start to build and we start to dig into our gold mine, I tell people this: you only have to strike oil once to get rich. You only have to strike oil once to get rich. And I believe that each and every one of you has some oil on the inside of you. The key is you got to keep digging. You got to keep digging. Well, here's the deal. I'm ERGJ, your certified financial educator. We do this show every day, Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m. 15 minutes. Today we're a little longer, but 15 minutes to change the way that you think so you can change your results. And here's the deal, guys. I'll be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. The question is, will you?